3, 2, 1. Your dogs are gay. That was a quote
Nice.
from Zootopia 2. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast. How's it going?
I'm Alex from IHG, and I'm going to say Jim will fix it.
Oh, no. I had to look up what the hell was going on in that last scene because I was not aware.
I can't wait to get to talk about this.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm Jake from Man Caring Thing. That's all. Hello.
That's all.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Mm-hmm.
Simple and clean.
Nothing cute today. This is serious business.
That's everything. Okay, goodbye, everybody. That was a good episode. Check out our Patreon.
Bye.
Sardonicast.com/whatever, and, you get some stuff.
No, it's serious business today. We're talking about some serious, frightening films. And I'm not just talking about Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you
Thank
guys
you.
started watching the On Cinema universe? On Cinema at the Cinema?
Oh, I have been in and out. I watch it like older stuff and clips, and it's fascinating to me, but painful to watch at times. Small doses.
No, I haven't seen.
I'm going in order.
No way.
I'm like, someone suggested the compilation of like all of the in-universe stuff in chronological order. And so I've just been listening to it like as a podcast. So I can just do it while I'm like in the car or something. It's funny. It's great.
Do you feel self-conscious now, like talking about movies? Because you're like,
No.
like they do such a good like parody of
me
reviewing films.
You.
Yeah.
A direct parody of you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that critics should be made fun of and have playful jabs at, for sure.
Absolutely.
I think that some of Tim Heidecker's best skits are ones where he's accurately portraying a character of just someone he's clearly met in LA, or many people he's met in LA. Like there was one on Bedtime Stories where he does this like pretentious ass like artist who's trying to make it big and on his YouTube channel and doing these fucking live one act performances, and it's just the most self-indulgent thing, but it's perfect. He captures it so well. Yeah, but yeah, it's very funny.
I feel like they don't even talk about like the whole thing. They make fun of everyone and everything, but they never talk about movies, and I think that's the best bit. That it's like a movie parody show that's not about movies.
They just read the IMDb.
Right.
Yeah, and mispronounce the name, and then Greg, just has random information about some thriller from the 90s. It's great.
Yeah.
Alex, have you watched it?
No, I haven't. I feel like I've really missed a lot of Tim Heidecker stuff, especially like Tim and Eric. I don't know how I feel about it, because I would see like random skits and be like, that's really funny and weird and off the beat, and then see another one and be like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But I can't say I've given it a proper chance, to be fair.
If you do start the Awesome Show and you're unsure about it, don't start with season 1, because that's definitely the most, like, it starts out more polarizing than it eventually winds up as. I'd say season 4 is the best.
Polarizing as in just too weird?
Polarizing as in like weird to the point where it's funny because it's not funny. Like, it's funny because it's not. Right?
Right. Like anti-humor.
And so like there's a very special brand of humor that's only going to connect with enough people, and I think you're more likely to connect to what they're doing in season 1 if you watch season 4 and get a bit more of their vibe and what they're going for, and see like what the ideal version of it is.
Right.
But yeah, very
weird.
Very, very good stuff. I like the Pink Panther review on the on Cinema, the original podcast version, was a very funny. I would say that's a good place for people to jump in.
Okay.
I know this is a bit of a tangent, but I was curious. I didn't mean to drop this on you guys all of a sudden, but I know like on Twitter, everyone is posting their top 10 of the past 25 years. because the New York Times, I guess, is doing some.
Because you can vote on it.
Yeah, you can vote on it. So I voted on it, and I was wondering if you guys did or put any thought into that.
I saw yours.
Okay.
Well, I went to the website and I started typing the word fateful findings and it didn't autocomplete. And so I realized I would have to add it in manually. And that at that point, the fucking poster wouldn't be there and the screenshot wouldn't be funny. So I just stopped doing it and I gave up.
I respect that.
Yeah.
What was this list? The best of the last 20 years or of the 2020s so far?
Of 20th century.
Of the since 2000.
20th,
yeah, since 2000.
21st century,
Okay.
I mean.
No, I haven't seen this list going around.
Yeah, the list doesn't exist yet.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
a question later that's kind of similar.
Just people are posting their own top 10
Right,
as their
right.
submissions for what will eventually be in the list. Maybe. But here's the thing, though. Like, I was kind of hoping less people would be sharing that because the more the more it gets outside of people who know about it because they're interested in film, the worse the list is going to get. Right?
Mm.
It's just going to be the IMDb top 250. Who cares? So, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I mean, I feel like there are people taking different approaches. I mean, you could take it any which way of like, these are just my personal favorites, or these I think are like great representatives of what's great about the 21st century cinema, etc. I don't know. I kind of tried to do a little bit both here. I'll read mine real quick.
Yes.
And I didn't put a lot of thought into this. This was just off the cuff. Catch Me If You Can, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Mistress America. That's a Noah Baumbach movie. I don't know if you've seen that. Mr. Turner, Mike Lee movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, No Country for Old Men, Uncut Gems, The Lost City of Z, Train to Busan, and Mulholland Drive. Now, you guys can applaud me for my terrific taste or not, but I feel like that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, got some bangers on there.
There's some stuff on there that you clearly like a lot more than I do, but there's other stuff on there that's really great. And then there's a couple I haven't seen, actually, but I've got them on my list.
Excellent. Anyways, I thought it was a fun exercise to think about.
I like the lists. They make people mad. It seems like 75% of the reason that lots of these online lists exist is to make you mad. Because they get shared around. It's like, wait, can you believe they put that on number 5? You joking right now?
Yeah. If it's like online vote, though, I don't know. Just have, I don't know.
So the Snyder Cut will be like number 1.
That would be nice. Like, I just don't know. We'll see whenever the list gets made. I just don't have high hopes for it. Generally, like, public audience award type things just are not relatable to me when I see the,
We should do our own
the
list.
final results.
We should do the Sardonicast list, and so people can get mad and share that.
Yeah, we should have our own non-woke awards show where we celebrate the best movies.
Now you're talking. Now you're thinking.
Yeah.
And the highest award you can get is Normie Masterpiece.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes.
The Normie Masterpiece Award, yeah.
We've said that phrase at least once per episode since I coined it. It is such a cultural milestone.
We got to make some merch with that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like it's tough.
Dude, yeah, we have to.
You've changed the culture.
I have changed the culture. People are saying it in my subreddit all the time. Now it'll make its way into Webster's one day. Yeah,
I think we should have definitely like a yearly awards show, and that should be one of the awards.
We should do it like in March, but only include movies from that year, like the first 3 months.
The first 3 months.
Yeah.
The worst months for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun concept, actually.
I like it. Yeah.
Some years there would be like a really great one, but most years maybe not.
The Beekeeper. That's a Normie Masterpiece.
I've heard it's hilarious. I actually really want to see that. 28 Beers Later.
Ooh.
That would be a great parody title. Oh my god. Where'd you go? Wayans Brothers? We need another parody film.
Do we?
Anyway, 28 years later. I'm kind of tired, everybody. Sorry. It's a film. We got
It is a film.
D to the B, A to the G, another collab, another one for the books. Jake, have you seen the other ones?
No.
Interesting.
And you guys can crucify me.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. No, that's interesting.
I was going to watch 28 Days Later, but I didn't. That's not a very interesting story, but I did not. And
I don't think you have to enjoy this film.
No.
yeah, I was seeing that online too. Like, you don't have to see it. And it's like, I don't have a lot of time to watch anything. So I was like,
No character overlaps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So I went in blind, and I guess that'll be part of the conversation. But when I posted my review on Woman Carrying Man channel, a lot of people were like, "What is wrong with you?" Like they acted like I had really transgressed. I had done something really horrible. So please forgive me, everyone.
Yeah, that's my favorite reaction.
Yeah,
when you haven't experienced something yet. How could you not? Like, what do you mean? I haven't done it yet. Do you understand the concept of time?
Yeah, it's not like you start with the middle Lord of the Rings or something. Like, it's a completely different part of the country for the most part. It's in London in the original, different characters.
okay.
There's some overlap as far as structure and some of the themes they're playing with, but quite a different movie.
I'm totally gonna see it now. Yeah.
And unlike a lot of these complaints we have about I don't know, there's a How to Train Your Dragon remake and all these other just IP cash grabs. It feels like the opposite of a cash grab with how kind of weird and risky it is, despite it still being Danny Boyle and Alex Garland making this so many years later.
Yeah.
20 years later, basically. Almost the amount of years that's in the title. And I'm on the verge of loving this. Caveats aside, and some things we'll bring up, I'm sure. But I was quite impressed with the direction they took this, and I think it does actually go hand in hand really well with that original movie and go in directions I wasn't expecting. What about you guys?
Adam?
Yeah, honestly, I think one of the phrases I kept saying to myself as I was watching this movie is like, hey, this is a new movie. They actually made a new movie. Like in a sense that's more than literal, a new film was released in theaters. No, they created something new. They deviated enough away from the original. The tone was pretty different. Its goals were very different. It was very experimental in terms of its filmmaking and
yeah, it's wacky.
The tone also, one of my concerns before going into this film, pretty much my only concern, I guess, was that I saw that Clint Mansell was no longer doing the score, and I was like, damn, because that's the voice of the original film. That's that's such an important component to the feeling of the original. But after watching this, or during watching this, it became clear that they weren't trying to replicate the exact tone of the original, at least through the score. And so the new music, even though sure it doesn't compare to Clint Mansell, it's a pretty high bar to fulfill. It was doing its own thing, and I think it worked really well for that. So I'm glad it didn't try to imitate. I'm glad it wasn't like a shell of the other score. It was just a completely separate thing, completely different tone, and I loved that it decided to do something new.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was glad that it didn't actually incorporate that iconic theme in any way. It's just confident enough to be its own thing.
We did get one callback song.
True. But I mean, a whole scene dedicated to the song in a similar way type thing. It knew what it was and the kind of new direction it wanted to go in. I really enjoyed. Because you say about the fears going into this, and one of mine was, man, by 2025, this zombie genre in cinema, it's pretty tired. What is there to do? I was just searching up some of the recent zombie films. There was Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, which was trash. Army of the Dead, that Snyder film, which was also trash.
Oh, yeah.
It's man, I guess when was the last time zombies were actually enticing? And maybe The Last of Us in 2013 was the last time I remember being that's kind of a cool spin. They're like mushroom zombies. Yeah. That's interesting. And I feel like they actually found an angle here by basically, in a way, making more of a fantasy movie than a zombie movie. It feels way more to me like a classic fantasy thing with this imagery of the bows and arrows and the kind of Camelot that they're traveling from. And there's a bone temple, and it almost feels like a different genre entirely. But it still has the sort of adventure and travel elements. And that was really kind of what hooked me in. And the zombies at this point, they're more like ogres, and is really like wacky and like over the top, and like bloaters and things like crawling around on the floor. It just feels more like a fantasy kind of setting at this point. And the completely isolated UK, which is kind of funny, that they kind of retcon a little bit of the implication of the end of 28 Weeks, was it? Where they show like Paris being overrun. I guess spoilers for that movie, but I would recommend actually not watching that movie.
Yeah, nobody watched the second movie. It's fucking garbage.
Yeah, and there's still like a lot of conversation around that movie saying about how good it is and how that's...
They haven't seen it since it came out. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way. Because that's like... That movie is what I would fear this to be, where it's like it goes too big, it doesn't really know what it's doing, it's trying to recapture that first movie, but it can't really find an angle, and it just gets big, dumb, and stupid. And this kind of gets smaller and more intimate, which I thought was like such a good direction to take it. And also like I don't know, this is quite a polarizing film online. Especially I see with a lot of American audiences, especially with that ending. I won't spoil anything yet if we're not in the spoiler section, but yeah, we'll get into that in more detail as it goes, I guess. And I could see preferring one of the acts over others because it's quite different per act, which is actually one of the things I love about it, where it, to me, kind of cements the film in these different perspective characters. Like the first act's kind of the dad's perspective of the world, the middle, it's the mother's, and then the third is more of the son's, and it gives it quite a nice structure and a nice sort of cadence as it moves along. Keeps it unpredictable and strange and experimental. But the weirdness of it is kind of what made the zombie stuff stick to me, or like reinvent itself, so it doesn't feel like it's just trying to be one of these nostalgia films that we're sick of. It does feel like, oh, you actually had an idea here. This is cool. I like this world you've set up. I like this isolated UK. Is this very much like a post-Brexity kind of feeling where we've isolated ourselves and no one around us wants to, and we're just falling into smaller and smaller cults that don't listen to each other and are eating ourselves alive, and we're all scared of one another. So I like that element of it.
Yeah, that was your punishment for getting out of Brexit. Was like, well,
yeah, this is a documentary. This is real.
you would be able to go to the rest of Europe, but you decided not to.
Yeah, we introduced the T virus.
Did you hear that Canada just announced like a new strengthened partnership with the EU like today?
Wow.
Yeah, so we're filling your shoes.
Trying to hurt me today?
Yeah, we're not like literally
Taking
in the
our place.
EU, but we're getting a bunch of perks or something.
God damn it.
Yeah, we're combining like economic and military favors.
Well, we're over here fighting for survival, running from the T zombies. Nice voice break there.
On your little island, you got your moat. Keep everybody out.
Yeah. That's definitely like part of the film with the way it's like it builds in that really creepy World War One poem that's in that original trailer, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the best part of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, they actually found, especially for that first act, a way to make these things scary. Like I was actually like tense and felt like, this environment's horrible. The silhouettes of these zombies just kind of standing there watching in the background, and these alphas and these new introductions and like world building stuff was like, ooh. I love the setting. They're in the wilderness now. It's not like a big empty city anymore. It feels different. Yeah, I love they're up in Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't even seen the first one, but I was able to figure out so clearly like what the stakes were and where the humans' vulnerability was. Like they really established very well those first interactions with the zombies when the dad and the kid go onto the mainland of like, okay, this is what it takes to kill them. You know, these are the slow ones. These are the fast ones. Like, okay, you're kind of screwed if your dad's not with you, you know, like it establishes it so well. And I feel like that first act is so long, but it's so well done. It's like its own little movie. And the people saying, I keep seeing this in reviews of like, oh, it's nowhere near as scary as the first one. This isn't even a horror movie. It's not scary at all. I'm like, what? Like, this was intense. Like, there were some sequences, and I don't want to get into spoilers, but like with the alpha zombie, like, holy shit, like that, the editing, the way the montage is, like the cross-cutting and everything, it's so like really well done and very tense with the music and everything. Just damn, like, yeah, there's some amazing sequences.
The editing especially is like what brings the discomfort to life. Like
So frenetic.
Yeah. The weird
Like the infrared.
yeah, not just the infrared, but like how separate scenes are like stitched into each other and like woven in like kind of like a non-chronological way where like the next scene will happen earlier than it should and you're cutting back and forth, or like cutting back and forth to
Yes.
things that
Yeah,
are
exactly.
not even like necessarily in the timeline but are more of the setting. Like some of the scenes we literally just get like shots to zombies that I guess are just somewhere else, but it works really well. Like, you know, it's kind of it's almost like showcasing the constant tension that would be on everyone's mind, like the fears and insecurities, the anxieties that would be in these characters' brains, right? But yeah, let us get into spoiler territory,
Right.
because the alpha and I guess the other zombie types, there were no types of zombies in the first film, and I forget if there were in the second, because the second's just the most forgettable film of all time.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think not in the second. So when honestly, when they announced that there would be like an alpha thing, they're like, "Oh, the alphas." I had another like bit of concern, like, okay, are we doing like Left 4 Dead type video gamey?
Yeah, it's a corny name.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've seen a bunch of zombie movies where they've tried to do the same thing, and it's like, I don't know. I find myself always just kind of like asking silly questions, like, why does that one, the fat one, is like that? What happened to them? How come they get to explode or whatever? It doesn't really matter. But
Right.
with what they did with these characters, I was pretty impressed that I was able to feel like a genuine sense of like dread and intimidation from the alpha characters, despite how silly in concept it is. The way it was executed was really well done. And so I wound up just, you know, appreciating that as a concept that they threw into the film and not being annoyed by it at all.
Yeah, I was sold by that in the first act when they're hiding after being overrun in the attic space, and there is just that silhouette shot of the alpha just standing watching. That's really creepy to me. Like implying that there's a level of intelligence and that there's something going on with these things, and like they're fucking and having kids and stuff. It's like, this is really freaky. And that dialogue implying that they're basically roid raged up, like the evolution of this virus and all of this time. That makes sense to me. That it's like evolving, it's changing. It kind of makes sense how they're staying alive. Some of them are eating worms.
Yeah, true.
Eating animals.
I would like to point out that it was never confirmed that they were fucking. That was just what someone said because they assumed it. I think that there's also a possibility that, you know, if fucking Ray Fiennes' character is out there, I think there's probably some other humans out there. So there might have been a pregnant woman who wasn't a zombie when she was pregnant and then got bitten by a zombie, you know, sometime within the 9 months.
I guess I thought that was the implication because the alphas seem to have some connection to the pregnant one, and the Ray Fiennes character mentions that he's known, he calls him Samson or something, and he's been there around for like 3 years. So I just figure the timeline of it, of being pregnant, whatever, would, I don't know, that seemed to be the implication to me, that they're like getting pregnant and whatnot now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Creepy though.
The inclusion of the alphas definitely makes it so that if I have any weird, like, what would I do in this universe fantasies, it definitely makes it a lot less likely that I would survive. Because, you know, just fast zombies and they're all the same. You can start making plans, right? You can start to fortify your apartment or whatever, you know, do similar things to what people were doing in the first film.
Yeah, you're not doing anything against these.
Yeah, the alpha, when they're in there, you're fucked. You're done. Donezo.
That big dick swinging.
Yeah.
I love that they were naked. That makes it like so scary to me. They're not like wearing the nappies from the Human Centipede trilogy or whatever to avoid censors. Like, man, these are just like deranged naked people sprinting around, and some of them are just enormous and can literally tear your head with its spine attached from your body.
If that was scary for you, I couldn't imagine how scary it would be for Americans.
True.
Why is that?
Because Americans are afraid of nudity, and generally
They hate
other
nudity, right?
Western countries that have a bit more European culture in them.
There was nudity in this? I just blacked out.
No.
I just blacked out. I was like...
She's having a panic attack for 2 hours.
That's huge. Wow, okay. But guess what, everyone? Prosthetic. They had to... the actor was probably like bragging to all his friends, like, yeah, you might see me in the movie. And then Danny Boyle has to be like, yeah, it's prosthetic because of child labor laws. Like, oh, of course. Good.
What would child labor laws have to do with that? What are you talking about?
You didn't see this? Child labor laws
I
of
saw that.
not having full frontal nudity around kids.
Since when?
I feel like that's a pretty good one.
What are you talking about?
What?
Did you not see this? It was an interview with Danny Boyle talking
Oh, I
about
didn't see
because
that.
everyone online is freaking out because there's like a dong in the movie. And it's like a fairly big one. And Danny Boyle was like, "Yeah, obviously it's not real. Like this is a movie. If you see a dick in a movie, it's probably not real."
Oh, he said it's a prosthetic.
Yeah, you confirmed it.
Yeah,
'cause,
'cause-
as Jake said, because of the child labor laws.
There's kids on set.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just riffing.
No, it's
Is
literal.
that? I wonder if that's specific to the UK. That's interesting.
In the U.S., it's the opposite.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not like unusual for a movie, right? Like if you see a dick, it's gonna be a prosthetic, like most of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm. I don't always make that assumption. It depends on the movie.
I normally do.
Do you think? Now, I think that if in the film Shame, directed by Steve McQueen, I think that was a real dong, Michael Fassbender.
Hmm.
Do you think that was a prosthetic?
I'd have to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Well, what about Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights?
We need to have a lengthy discussion
Lengthy.
on film dicks.
You guys can do a spin-off podcast for that.
Antichrist, that was real. That was a body double, but it was real. That was in Antichrist.
True.
Yeah.
Because Willem Dafoe's dick was too big,
Yeah.
apparently.
Okay, so in the UK, you can't have any nudity if children are hired to make a film, but in Hollywood, a kid can't get hired unless they see a penis. Right?
Wow. Damn, there's the divide right there.
Okay, I was just making sure I understood.
I like the UK one better.
That's on the books? Man, people should take a look at that. The union should get
It's the way
involved.
it's always been, Jay.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to say something that might anger you.
Go
Go for it.
I feel like Danny Boyle, in this film at least, reminded me and had the energy of the filmmaker Baz Luhrmann.
That's fine.
Oh man, you're breaking my heart. No, it's not fine by me.
No, I understand why you would say that.
I feel like there's some
No, I know what you're
the
saying.
maximalism, the
Yeah,
cutting, the
maximalist.
energy, the cross cutting. I mean, it just feels very energetic and big.
Yeah.
Maybe not as wild and over the top as Baz Luhrmann, but there's some of that in there.
See, that's a perfectly fine thing to say. And this makes me feel like, oh, this is like if Baz Luhrmann was well realized. It's like you can see what Baz Luhrmann was trying to do his entire career and failed at doing.
Wow.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, it made me feel an emotion, which is cool. Uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
fearful. I love the inclusion of these weird, like, Renaissance England shots of like some kind of movie or reference. It was
I
very.
think that was Henry V, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah. It was very like unsettling and weird. All these like clips they're putting in. I already mentioned the World War One poem, and yeah, it seemed quite random, but also there was an intent there to making you feel uncomfortable. It feels unpredictable. You have these weird Matrix rig shots, and then these infrared shots, and I
Yeah.
know some people are upset by those Matrix things, and with the like 20 iPhones and a half moon around these actors, but I love that.
Why?
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Every time they implemented it.
Yeah. iPhone bullet time.
I don't. I guess just anything stylistic can put people off. Yeah, you said it's maximalist as hell. That will put some people off, I'm sure. But it's also like Danny Boyle. Like, this is what I want to see from him. This is why I like most of his movies. And it was like yesterday was really a letdown for me, and it felt like, oh, there's like none of this like
Yeah.
energy that has made you who you are. So it's nice to see that this, at this point, old ass man has still got it in him.
He's got it.
It's like bringing these strange ideas and.
Well, that's because they copied the whole thing from Kimba.
Is Danny Boyle the best living British filmmaker?
Probably.
Wait, Mike Leigh. I gotta go with Mike Leigh.
Yeah, it's tough. I like them both, but
I'd have to think about that, honestly. I don't know if I can give an answer. He's up there for like people that I will watch a new movie of, you know? When it comes to like the iPhone bullet time stuff, you know, it was kind of interesting in the sense that it felt like 90% of kills, like headshots or whatever, would get that treatment. And I thought about the way it was presented, it avoided being too quote unquote cool. Like it wasn't doing it in a Zack Snyder-y kind of way. It wasn't doing it in like oh wow, this is epic, or like, you know, the zombie land slow-mo stuff. Like it wasn't doing it as a show-offy way. It was doing it in a creative way. It was when I watched it, I didn't feel like, oh wow, this is trying to give us the impression of some sort of spectacle in like a serious tone. This is supposed to be weird, and that the overwhelming vibe I got from it was weird, and I was happy about that because this is a film that should be weird. It's a fucking weird movie, and that's what makes it unique. Like I love how it flows with itself.
Yeah, and it kind of helped with the clarity and pace of the action as well. Like when it would emphasize a moment,
very well done,
with how like frenetic that editing is. Like when it would do that, it's like, oh, I can see where the error was. They like missed this shot, or they nailed that shot. Okay, I understand like spatially what's going on right now.
It's not aestheticizing the violence as much. I mean, it is partially. I think any movie is, but like, it's that's not the primary focus. The primary focus is to like immerse you viscerally within the scene, you know, and the character's feelings. It's not trying to do anything like Zack Snyder, like making a painterly thing, even though some shots in this movie are very beautiful. I really liked how it took this kind of unrealistic look and expressionistic look along with this grimy iPhone appearance. Like it kind of does both, especially in that sequence with the Alpha chasing them across the land bridge, right? Before, we're talking spoilers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Spoiler away.
Yeah, right. Before they get back from their, you know, his first outing within the mainland, that whole sequence, you see the stars and galaxies up behind them in a very intense action sequence. It's like,
that was my favorite scene.
This is an interesting choice, but yeah, like you were talking about the cross-cutting, how they're cutting to the party sequence after, and you don't realize that it's after. You know, very tricky, devious. Like, fuck yeah! Like I love this intense, like fucking with the audience type of thing. Like they just really ramped up the tension, and they really knew how to do that in that scene. I just was like, God damn. After that scene, I was like, I'm all on board. This movie's sold.
Yeah, that was a absolutely beautiful scene, and the music choice worked with it really, really well. Yeah, the editing and even like the iPhone bullet time, they all contribute to this like not only weird feeling, but like the feeling of unease that it's giving, right? Like it's all contributing to the overall feeling of the film. Like it's all purposeful, it's all meaningful in like an artistic way.
And I guess that's where some of the critiques come in, because I've seen a lot of people say that they love that first act but don't love where it goes in the second and third. And I would agree in terms of like I think the first act's my favorite as far as like an intense, it's kind of simple, as Jake was saying, almost like a short, like it works just in and of itself. But there is also that expectation with kind of Danny Boyle and the way his movies move around, where they often will change in direction at a certain point. And it's almost like the inverse of 28 Days Later, where the last act of that movie kind of turns more into, this isn't really about zombies anymore, this is more about how disgusting humans can be. And this one is kind of the inverse, where it's like, actually there can be some philanthropy in here. There can be like a nice person who can do something for other people. The kind of misdirect of the Ralph Fiennes character, and this whole bone temple thing, which, as I say, I actually love that kind of fantasy, the set with all the skulls everywhere and how wacky that is, with the, you know, melting people's skins off and keeping all these bodies and whatnot. I love the whole like setup of that and the build up and lore of like this doctor dude who's been surviving, and he's kind of implied to be a pacifist and won't kill the alpha, which I could have actually done with maybe one scene of the Spike trying to kill the alpha when he's like paused with the morphine or whatever, with the Ray Fiennes character maybe saying like, hey, we don't want to kill them, I'm a pacifist, blah blah blah, or something, just to explain why they left this dangerous monstrosity alive when they have multiple chances to take it out or deal with it in some way. Right. Could have done with that. There were a couple of moments like that where I'm like, oh, maybe that was a bit convenient. Maybe we've glossed over something a bit here, like the wasn't fully sold on Spike pulling the knife on his dad, even though I kind of understood what they were getting at with the motivation of him.
Oh, I love that.
I think it made sense.
I like it in premise, but I just feel like it got there so quick for me, as far as like, I understand where they were going, where he wasn't enjoying, he obviously saw his dad, he was lying about the accomplishments on the trip, he was cheating on his wife. Yeah. So all this kind of like masculinity that he wasn't vibing with, and the switch there felt a bit sudden for me. Maybe it worked better on a second watch, but I do have to admit it felt like a bit of an escalation.
I don't think he was literally going to stab him. I think he was just kind of like having an emotional, desperate moment. Yeah. Like it fit with teenage, emotions.
Also, like that turn in the story was just so well done, because the whole first act we're setting up like this kid doesn't really have his shit together yet. His dad is there for him. His dad is good. Like he takes care of him. Like they have a good bond and everything. And then you see that turn where he's cheating on the mom, and then suddenly that changes everything. And get that, just that whole premise of setting up the second act of like, this is such a great concept. He's taking his mom, who is like not all mentally there. He's not really well equipped to go do this. Yeah. And they go, and you feel so vulnerable with these characters, and you're so concerned for them. Just the way it's set up is so well. The only problem I have with the story, because I think the story's amazing, is that it does feel like the first part of a trilogy. And I started questioning while I was watching it, like, wait, didn't I hear somewhere this is the first part of a trilogy? Because the pacing got a little wonky. I'm like, we're kind of like, it feels like there should be another hour on this movie to wrap things up. The dad goes after them to try, this relationship between Spike and his dad needs to come to some kind of resolution. And it felt like we're leaving so much there to be picked up in the sequels that it wasn't as bad as, like, say, Dune Part 1 or Across the Spider-Verse, where it's like, here's half of a movie, it's not done yet. It felt like there was an arc and we came to a resolution, but I was still somewhat like unsatisfied. And I do feel like my rating might shoot up if the sequels land some of these, character arcs.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at with the caveats, because that is not clear in the marketing at all that it's going to Spider-Verse you. Because I do kind of think it was about as bad as Spider-Verse. With like how much they've set up and how little of it is like paid off outside of the... I do like where it goes with the mum stuff. That's kind of like the emotional heart of the movie. But there is still so much left, especially with how it ends like so abruptly. And I'm a bit kind of like, ooh, like I'm with you. This rating might actually go up or down depending on how this is followed up, especially because Danny Boyle is not directing the next one. Garland's writing all three, which is cool. And I think Boyle's planning to do the third one, but I think it's Nia DaCosta's lined up to do the second one, which is coming out in like 6 or 7 months or something. So I'm glad they shot them so close together. But I'm just wondering, like, does she have the chops to, like the auteur chops to bring the style and maximalism that Boyle does to this movie? I'd be curious to see how that comes together, especially with how out there the Jimmy group is. Like, I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that. But yeah, it does feel like there are these threads, because the opening of the movie obviously is setting up that Jimmy character, and you don't get any resolution or continuation of that outside of that one scene at the end that is annoying some people online, but I actually quite enjoy what it says about how it contrasts with the Spike character, who does have this very clear arc where he does kind of transition into adulthood throughout the movie. He does put the Power Rangers toy down, he changes as a character, he kind of grows up, and then to be confronted with this group of like man children who idolize this pop culture from the early 2000s in the UK, and the underlying kind of sinister nature of them all being like visually and in name kind of evoking Jimmy Savile, and the fact that wouldn't have been known in the UK if there was a huge pandemic that brought everyone to their knees. It was in like 2010 or something that people found out. So it makes sense that this man-child who idolizes pop culture and like color coordinates like Teletubbies and dresses like Jimmy Savile and has this whole Power Rangers thing and kills them in that way, felt like, oh, there's something really sinister and weird and cool about this cult. Like, where could this go? And the upside down cross and stuff. There's lots to play with there as far as where they can take that. But man, it's gonna be a challenge.
It felt like a post-credit scene though. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
You know,
regardless of what the sequel to this is like, I think it's pretty clear just with the ending of this movie that they're setting expectations for it to be different, right? Like if it's going to be some Jimmy story, I'm excited. I'm hyped for it. But it feels like it probably won't be trying to just do this same movie again.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah. But also, you do want some kind of consistency with the plot, because presumably it's going to have the dad character in there or something, and it's got to incorporate. The subtitle is The Bone Temple, so they're probably going to go back to.
Let's just do a Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last Jedi. Cool. Everyone will be happy and love it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the Bone Temple stuff will come back in, and yeah, I'm very curious what they're going to do about that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't like judge anyone for being kind of upset that it does just, hey, by the way, there's another one. We'll see you in 6 months. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That wasn't clear at all.
It could have left on a better note, I will say. Like, I was super into the emotions of it, and then that scene happened, and I was just kind of like, okay, all right, yeah, there's a sequel coming. But I don't know. Do you guys feel confident in Nia DaCosta? I feel like I'm a little confident because Alex Garland and Danny Boyle are still producing, and Alex Garland is writing the sequel. So I don't know. Maybe it's just, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, I remember there was some stuff that I enjoyed about the Candyman remake that she directed. Like, it wasn't a movie that I loved overall, but like there was some good stuff in there. So
yeah,
I haven't seen her other stuff because it's Marvel shit, but
the Marvels.
Well, people are like, oh, she made the Marvels. Like, how could she possibly make this? I'm like, she didn't make the Marvels. Like, she was hired to be, to take the.
Her name was on it.
Yeah,
attached to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, she brings something like a new voice to it and can continue this story. There's plenty to do, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the fact that they did film them so close to each other, at the same time, maybe that will help it feel kind of cohesive.
Yeah.
Like there isn't like a weird break that ruins the flow of it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Who knows?
But I do got to say though, the kind of like emotional pull of this movie I was not anticipating. Like the whole second act, when it turns more into like that first act is like the macho dad, like, yo, I'm showing you how to survive. And then it shifts into this more like gentle just story about a mother and her son, like just trying to get medical help. And there's something like really sad and quite emotional with the way it goes. I know it doesn't work for some people, and Ralph Fiennes is like, oh, yeah, we're gonna basically drug this child and boil her bones down, and you can climb to the top of this the skull pyramid and place her at the top, the best place.
But it's a beautiful sequence. I mean, that's what's crazy. It's like, we know he's just like burning her and boiling her skull, but it's like done so well. Weirdly, it reminded me of the ending of The Lost City of Z. I'm not going to spoil how that movie ends, but the same emotions I felt. Like, it was just like weirdly dark, but kind of like peaceful and beautiful. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is this happening in this zombie movie? Like, this is really interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of odd watching him like kiss his dead mother's skull and put it on a stack of bones.
Yes, that's what I mean about the fantasy imagery though.
Yeah,
like
it was fun.
The Elden Ring movie stuff now is kind of like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, true.
This is just straight up a fantasy movie. Like, I could see a Bone Temple in like an Elden Ring movie, and the structure of it, Like I'm all with Garland. I think he's a really interesting writer and director.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
no matter what I watch from him, I know that it'll at least be interesting.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. There's a standard of quality.
I'm rooting
there.
for them. I'm excited. I'll definitely be, first in line to go see the sequel, though.
The first?
Yeah, the first.
What do you think of the Swedish guy?
Oh, that was funny. I mean, it was good bit of him, showing the kid the phone
Yeah.
and being like, "That's my girlfriend." He's like, "What's wrong with her face?"
Because it's fairly humorless outside of that, so it was nice to have that bit of relief, like in the middle.
I just like the idea that the whole world is just normal, like that everything has gone exactly
it's
the
just
same.
the UK that's in complete ruin.
We're literally we're moving on without you.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Sorry. Yeah, he had a funny death.
had a good run.
That's the thing about this movie is like I love it. I don't take it as seriously as the first film in terms of like my investment for the characters and if they die sort of thing and how they die. Like I think that this movie has a bit more leeway in terms of how much ridiculousness and cheese it can bring to it because of its style clearly going in that direction. By the time the ending scene happened, I was like, okay, yeah, this reaffirms what I was feeling the entire time, but it wasn't as explicit, I guess, until the very end. And then, with Jimmy, I'm like, okay, this is undeniably clear now. like this is what I thought you were doing. Happy about it. So yeah, like the first film is always going to have like a very special place in my heart. I still think it's the best one. And in terms of like a horror movie, especially like the dramatic elements of horror, I think that it works a lot better in that sense. But yeah, this is fucking still awesome. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
I like that it's different.
I think the original one is probably better overall, but I don't know, there's some goofy stuff in that first movie too, like when Cillian Murphy just turns into a ninja, like in the last act. It's pretty cartoonish and goofy. Like,
sure, yeah.
There is some like romanticization of these movies, especially when they're so old and it's like you haven't seen them in ages. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you got to revisit it and see how it goes, like in without the benefit of hindsight. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely way kind of more out there and strange and cartoonish than that original movie. But I'm glad they went that direction because I feel like trying to capture that lightning in a bottle at the original would just be a mistake if they, set it in a city again and just go through the beats of every zombie thing we've seen and that it has inspired over the decades since, and like this weird snake eating its own tail where it inspires The Last of Us, and then this is inspired by The Last of Us, and so where are we going? Let's just make it weird. Let's just make it different. I think that was the correct choice.
Mm-hmm.
Dank. Well, I'm giving this one, for now, a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it could be bumped up to an 8 if they get rid of those child labor lies and show some real pain.
Did you like that it opened on a scene of like a bunch of kids being mauled by zombies?
It's all on paper. It's like that scene was made for me, but but I just like I was kind of watching it, and the opening scene I felt was like a little not quite there yet in terms of like what I was feeling. Because I wasn't really like...
You wanted them to have the kids' skeletons pulled apart. Like, they didn't show, like, in detail.
Like, linger on it, yeah.
I don't know. Like, when it's just, like, a bunch of random kids who you're introducing only to die, it kind of just reminds me of, like... I don't know, like, AVP Requiem or, like, fucking Postal or, like, any film that's just kind of, like...
It was way better than that.
I know, but I'm, like, reminded of those things. Like... I don't know. What I'm looking for in terms of like a horror experience, I want to care that someone dies. When a death happens, I want to care.
But how could you care if they die if they're a kid? Because you don't care about the kids.
Well, because I don't know the kid. Kids are dying every day.
Okay, so if you know the kid, then you'll care.
Am I gonna have a mental breakdown over every single death happening in the world right now? No, I have to know them. Right?
Okay.
I mean, by the end of this trilogy, I guess we will know the main kid from that sequence, in theory anyway, right? Little Jimmy boy.
Oh, is that Jimmy? That is Jimmy.
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
Okay,
He's
thank you for
in the
helping me
church.
connect it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love the culty / religious stuff going on.
True.
That's one of the creepiest scenes in the original movie is that church scene. There is some underlying... There's something they're hiding about the little island, the little Camelot place that they're residing in, and these creepy like masks and these rituals they have. But I don't know if that's pointing at something sinister lurking that might be explored in the other movies, but I hope they kind of go more in that direction and have like cult v zombie in some way. Like,
yeah.
Go down. That'd be cool.
I hope it's like even wackier. I hope this first film makes enough money for them to greenlight a third, because that's what they want to do. And I think it's based on the success of this. And then I hope the second one is the most polarizing thing in the world. That's my ideal.
And then bring back Danny for the third one.
Yeah, and then bring back D to the B, A to the G.
Because we don't know exactly what is set up for this trilogy, because it was all like mapped out. It's not like they're writing it from scratch. Second and third one. So hopefully there's some stuff that was, in retrospect, will be like, oh, that was cool that they laid that down there, and could flesh it out. Could be cool. I don't know if it's necessarily what I wanted from a 28 years later, like for it to be a trilogy, but so far so good.
Mm-hmm.
What are your ratings?
All right, I think I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Yeah,
I'm with you guys.
Nice.
I think this is a good 7, strong 7.
Strong, sturdy 7. Yeah,
up or down actually, depending on where this goes.
Is this our first unanimous since No Country?
Just
no,
might be.
I think we've. No, yeah, maybe actually,
Maybe.
because you loved the second Human Centipede.
Here's a weird bit of information. They're doing a 4K Blu-ray of the first film.
How? Literally how?
So the question will be, so Jake, if you didn't know this about the first film, it was filmed on digital cameras way before it was even like a thing that people did. So it was like an artistic choice. And so the regular Blu-ray of this film, people go, why does it look so pixelated? It's like, it's not the Blu-ray, it's how they filmed it, right? So it's going to look pixelated no matter what. So the fact that they're doing a 4K, either they're going to do some weird nonsense upscaling or something, or like interpolation or something. I don't know. Either that, or it's going to look the exact same, except the last scene in the film that was shot on film. So
that'd be fun.
Or maybe the title font in the credits will be like really 4K, like high def, ultra high def.
Just so sharp.
Yeah. But I'm gonna buy it because it's so silly.
Didn't they have this issue with Inland Empire when Criterion did their Blu-ray?
Oh yeah, they had to do some tricky stuff.
Right. Yeah.
They did some weird stuff with that. That lots of people are still complaining about. So I don't know. It is a weird thing to do. To like, it's intentionally not supposed to look pristine, and also like you see James Cameron doing his like AI upscaling of The Abyss and Aliens, and it's like, what are you doing, man? Like this,
And then he gets mad when people are criticizing it. You live in a basement if you care about quality of films, says the guy who's been spending the last 2 decades on fucking Avatar. What are you talking about?
Avatar is a quality cinema. Let's not besmirch James Cameron. He can make mistakes.
Getting besmirched up in here.
Yeah, getting besmirched.
All right, Jake it away.
Jake it away.
Yeah.
Good one. All right, everyone. Today's viewing classic, today's recommendation is the double feature of Legally Blonde and Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde. So, I am so curious to hear what you guys have to say about these movies. I very much enjoy the first one. The second one is an abomination. I hate it so much. But I think the first one is a stone cold classic. Apparently there is a third one in development with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh.
Not surprising. There was also like a spin-off series.
What's Legally Blonde's? Or was that the spin-off?
Legally Blondes, I guess, was technically like a spin-off film. I don't know.
They're like kids or something? I don't know.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck about that one. It's not canon. Everyone's not canon. So I guess I'll just start off asking both of you, what'd you think of Legally Blonde?
You first, Alex. I'm still eating my protein bar.
I actually watched Legally Blonde like a year ago for the first time. I was shown it by my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was pretty funny. I don't think it's quite as good as like a Clueless or something like this. But for what it's going for, I think it passes the Kermode laugh test. There are enough good lines in there. I think once you get past the first act, I enjoy it a lot more. Once it actually gets into the sort of murder mystery aspect of it, and the absurdity of where it goes at certain points. It's charming enough. I'm into Bruiser. I think that's a fun little character. It's cute. It's playful. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's cartoonish as hell. I quite like the first one, but I'm definitely with you where I did a double bill. I just watched it in one very pink chunk, and I was like just tearing my hair out for that second one. But I guess we'll get into that when we get to that one in more detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. Not my type of thing.
No.
It was pretty repetitive. It has some charm. I spent some amount of time wondering if this was like a surprise secret spite recommendation to like make up for your last one. I was like, is this what's happening? Like, I wasn't sure. Like, it's fine. It's just not what I'm looking for in a movie. Like, the things that I like about movies aren't really in here.
Yeah, it's not your taste.
Yeah, I don't particularly feel like the target demographic, but I can still find things to enjoy about it.
How do you guys feel about early 2000s rom-coms and, chick flicks, so-called?
Well, name a few, and I'll let you know if I've even seen them.
Oh, let's see. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Haven't seen it.
Classic. The Wedding Planner.
Haven't seen it.
What else?
I do have to admit, I tend to avoid movies that have the the white poster with the big text and the two characters standing there.
You know
I
what
normally
you're
use
getting.
that as a yeah.
Well,
Very safe.
this is good because I feel like I grew up. I have an older sister and I have a mom, as we all do.
That'll do it.
And they watched tons of. I mean, this was like the perfect time for these types of movies and rom-coms, and I was subjected to them against my will. At the time, I thought it was the worst, most horrible thing. I think Legally Blonde was like torment for me, and I probably saw it so many times when I was little. But now, I guess I rewatched it with Nadia a few years ago, and I was like, dang, this is actually like a well-done comedy. It's a well-written movie. The script is pretty tight and has good character arc for our hero and protagonist. It feels kind of progressive for its time. It doesn't really condescend or look down on the audience. I was just very impressed and happy with the movie that it was, and it was a lot smarter than I expected. So I was like, this is really great. Let's watch the sequel. And I was like, what happened? Now we're going to talk about the sequel in a second, but I have something to share.
Please.
I don't know if you guys are aware. Legally Blonde 1 came out in July of 2001. Legally Blonde 2 came out in July of 2003. Now, I don't know if you guys are history fans, but
9/11.
Something happened. 9/11. 9/11. Now, I know I was ridiculed a little bit when I talked about Fantastic Four, being in relationship to the Iraq War. But guys, the Iraq War and its effect on Legally Blonde 2, there was something in the water that happened. You can feel it. There's a cynicism, there's a darkness in the sequel. Elle Woods is no longer, our lovable protagonist, who we sympathize with, who maybe is, not super self-aware, but is smart and a strong person. In the sequel, she is just a cartoon character, just a bizarre caricature of herself. All of her character development has been erased. Now, I think that post 9/11, one could look at the World Trade Center as a phallus. Let's say, like,
Where are you going?
okay,
No, I like this. I like
hang
this. He's cooking. Let him cook.
okay,
Okay, no, keep
and
cooking.
America's manhood was attacked. And there was, if you look at any of the culture around this time, hyper masculine stuff, one needs only to look at country music. I know Todd in the Shadows did like a video essay about this that was so illuminating to me, of how all these popular female country stars, like their careers tanked after 9/11, and there was way more popularity with male country music stars, people like Toby Keith, very like macho, we'll put a boot in their ass because we're the US of A kind of shit.
Interesting.
This stuff is all interesting to me because, of course, I grew up in a very conservative part of this country, and this was like, beamed into my brain from the youngest age of, all this crazy culture stuff that I didn't understand what it meant until, later on. But I feel like it's an interesting case study to see how, like, Legally Blonde, the first one, really feels like a movie of the 90s. And Legally Blonde 2, which deals a lot with politics and with, the culture of the time and tries to tackle these things from a unique angle. It feels like just a different world, and things had changed, and there's a darkness in there. Do you guys see what I'm cooking up here, or
I do.
Or am I out of line?
I see what you're cooking.
I hear that. There's a bitterness in that second movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The warmongering aspect of the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, and let's get back to the first one, because there's, of course, plenty more to say about the first one, because it is a unique thing in itself. I really love how in the first film, the character, she has like a strong character arc. Like, she starts out in the movie wanting to pursue Harvard and go to Harvard in order to win back her boyfriend, who breaks up with her at the start of the film. And that's like a clear character path for her. She is like a Beverly Hills blonde stereotype, materialistic, whatever. And the subject of like plenty of like ridicule and gentle humor, but there's also like an intelligence there. She's a smart person. And part of the fun of that movie is just seeing her, the expectations of her against what she's actually capable of. And halfway through the movie, like perfectly, like it's a really well-structured screenplay. Halfway through the movie, almost exactly, is the scene where she talks to her boyfriend. She realizes, oh, you don't respect me, and you never will. And that's when she changes, where starts to self-actualize.
Yeah.
And then we get the murder mystery plot, which is fun and interesting in itself. And her skills are put to use in a unique way. And like, that's what's fun and great about this movie. And part of what was good about the culture of the time is of that, like, girl power, like, that's great. Like, you can be feminine and all these things, and like, that doesn't define or make you worse, and you can be smart and a good person too, like, there's a scene where there's like a lesbian character, and she's like assuming Elle is gonna be like mean and homophobic, and she isn't. It's these other characters. So yeah, it's kind of like a warm movie. It has like a nice message. Yeah.
It's like it's representing the innocence and optimism of pre 9/11 America.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Despite her being for the first act, well, half of the movie, as you said, a spite-driven character almost entirely. Like, that's like her entire
Yeah.
motivation for going to Harvard, is to basically mess with her boyfriend who broke up with her. But obviously,
Well, at first she wants to win him back, and then
I was thinking it should just like turn into Kill Bill. like halfway through the movie. It's like you could just edit in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Like I want her to get real revenge.
Yeah, but once it gets into that section where when Jennifer Coolidge comes in, that's where I'm quite into it. I think she's just such a strange like presence in the movie. The way cadence and like delivery of lines is so unusual, and I really like her in White Lotus and whatnot. I dig her. She's like one of the funnier parts to me.
Now I have a lot of nostalgia for pre 9/11 90s vibes for sure. But as a cynic, I will admit that, you know, there is something that kind of like irks me about, you know, it being essentially like Nepo propaganda. Like, we live in a meritocracy, and like all you have to do is just like if you want to get the best grades, all you have to do is just like try really hard. And sure, that's true for a lot of people, but like I feel like it kind of represented itself in a way of like, oh, but she's the dumbest. Oh, and then it turns out that if you're actually really dumb and you still fail, that it's because you didn't try hard enough. Like, I don't know.
But do you feel like the movie kind of comments, like that is true in some aspect, but do you feel like it comments on that at least somewhat, where her ex-boyfriend, it's revealed, you know, his dad had to make a call to get into Harvard, you know, so he didn't actually earn it.
Yeah,
you know?
true. No one earns anything except her.
Yeah, and also Elle finds out, you know, the big turn later in the movie that the lawyer guy, whatever, leading the case, just hired her on the team because he wants to get in her pants.
Yeah, messed up. Or even at the beginning of the movie, where Elle's dad by the pool with that martini, he's like, law school's for people who are boring, ugly, and serious. I don't know, it's so like cartoonish and on the nose. It seemed like, yeah, that arc of her self-actualizing, as you said, is the kind of heart of it and the best part of it to me. Yeah,
it's really well done, and it's very it tells the story very simply but very clearly, and it doesn't waste time very much, and it doesn't turn it into just this like romantic plot, because it starts out that way, but like Luke Wilson's character is kind of like this perfect person who's just very understanding and doesn't, you know, limit her capabilities. Yeah, you know, but it's not really about, like, I know the last shot of the movie is saying like, oh, he proposed to her, but that's not really the win of the movie. The win of the movie is her, you know, winning the case and then becoming this lawyer, and you know, the blending of like, you can be this person who's very feminine and you can have all of these qualities that are looked down upon in this, you know, stuffy Harvard setting, and you can also be brilliant and smart, and that's like a great feminist message. It's a good movie that's not a perfect movie. It is not by any means, but I feel like it was a nice moment in time, and I think that I don't know if it. I don't know if they could do this today in the same way, or how they would take that approach.
Yeah, it would be tough. Because one of my favorite things about it is the humor, the lines that they be pulling out, the jokes that they're using this funny cartoonish framing to get at, like don't you look like a walking felony? Or I know you're upset about all this. Can't you just take a Percocet? There's like some really funny stuff in there. Like when she screams, "I object," to someone like wolf whistling her. Like that's funny to me.
Oh yeah,
some like cleverness in there.
My favorite line was with the Chuck boyfriend. It's like, "You bitch," just from the background in the back of the yeah. That was a fun moment. I would also like to point out her lipstick fucking pops. You know? Like it's fucking distracting. But like not in a way where I'd be like, that's bad, but in a way where it's just like very notable. I was reminded of like the Sin City color grading, almost as if it were like a selective hue that was taken and exaggerated from the rest of the colors in the film.
No, that's another great thing about the movie. The hair, costumes, makeup. It's all really great.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I was super distracted by the director of Longlegs just like being in this film. Osgood Perkins
Osgood
is just
Perkins.
like there.
More like Osbad.
I was just like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I forgot that he's in this movie.
Yeah.
Lots of good character actors. I mean, yeah, Jennifer Coolidge is great. But who's the woman who plays the professor? Gosh, she's in so many things, but she's really good in this. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have that much to say about it. I feel like it does fit into just a very like stereotypical setup, like classic Hollywood rom-com of this time period.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's held up very well because of its themes and because of like the humor. Yeah, the little comedy bits, bend and snap, like iconic things that have kind of like seeped into the culture. Jennifer Coolidge is in the fucking Minecraft movie now, you know, like
Yeah.
Just iconic things that I'm happy that we have this movie, and I'm happy you guys watched it, even if it wasn't necessarily all your thing, Adam.
Of course.
And for a little bit of an edgy comedy
Yeah.
from 2001, not that much stuff that's like, oh, you can't say that anymore. I only know down two.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. I was thinking about that also recently with what was this other comment? Oh, White Chicks.
Right.
I watched White Chicks. Nadia wanted to watch that with me. I'm like, there's no way this is aged well at all. This is probably going to be so bad. It kind of aged really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not perfectly. Like, there's still shit that's like, oh damn, like it's not great. But it's kind of sort of like Legally Blonde in that way, where it's like, oh, this kind of has a nice message, and it's not horribly offensive.
Yeah, it's a real like coin flip with comedies from that time period. Like you forget there's like an N-word in Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. Like you don't
It
even
was funny.
think about, like,
All right, we're not going to cater to the woke mob. That was funny. It'll continue to be funny.
bruh.
I was going to say about White Chicks, I like that every scene was dinner and drinks. Every single scene.
Trying to get me to remember White Chicks right now,
No.
dude.
All right.
I think that's got to be a new rec. coming up
No.
soon.
It doesn't gotta be. I mean, for sure, if you want. If you really want, there's no rules, I guess.
Do you guys want to talk about the sequel?
Of course I do.
What's our ratings for
Yeah.
Legally Blonde 2001?
Oh, yeah.
I give this a 5 out of 10.
Boo.
It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. It's, it's a part of the time period. It's a little time capsule or whatever. It's got some charm. I was not very invested. And, perhaps this isn't the fault of the film itself. Perhaps it's more so the fault of other films kind of emulating and imitating it in a way where eventually something just becomes like the feeling of being generic because it was successful. But yeah, it was all right. Just not my thing.
Yeah, for a second watch, I thought it was fun. I'd probably give this a 3 stars on Letterboxd with a like. I liked how all the court cases like she solved through something to do with like her link to fashion or style or hair care. I thought it was just a good gag overall, and it doesn't really linger to me outside of that kind of first act. It really like flies by once you get to Harvard. I dig it. It's fun.
Cool. Well, I'm glad. I give this an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
And
Nice.
I am excited to talk about the second one because I think there is so much to be said. I think it's easier to talk about movies that have
Horrendous.
gaping flaws. So let's get into the mindset here. 9/11 has happened.
Yes.
9/11, 2001. In March 20th, 2003, America invades Iraq. And in July of that same year, Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde hits theaters. How are we feeling about this movie?
Painful. Difficult to sit through. Yeah.
It's definitely worse.
Uh-huh.
If I were more into and invested in the first film, I think that I would have been in more pain. But I was kind of amused at some of this film's shortcomings. Some very awkward editing choices. There was at least one moment where like the shots were distracting because they broke the 180-degree rule. I'm like, oh, interesting. Like you're doing that like in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, oh wow, you're really setting the tone.
Experimental. It was shoddy, man.
And it's kind of it's fun when you just give a sequel, like you give a successful franchise or a successful IP to a different director, and you kind of appreciate the previous director more because you're like, oh, there was definitely more competency there.
Significantly more, despite the budget's so much higher on the second one too, but it looks like a straight to DVD like budget version of the first movie, and then, it feels so insincere and like, oh, we got to do the bend and snap again, and this time it's going to be the snap cup, but it's like not funny. there are like no good jokes. The only time I'm laughing is kind of at it with like, oh god, that was supposed to be a joke. Oh, that was rough.
Lighting's kind of wonky.
Yeah, so this movie sucks. It is so bad. And like yeah, you guys are talking about like the editing, the filmmaking. Yeah, it's definitely worse. It's not also interesting. It's not scope. I don't think it's 16:9 change aspect ratio. So it does feel more like TV. But I think the crucial element of what breaks this movie is, first off, like the tone, how it relates to Elwood's, and almost like the fantastical elements and the break from reality, and how it treats like the dog plot, everything like that. But mainly as a character, Elwood's has no character arc. She had her character arc in the first movie, where she self-actualizes, she becomes her own person. In the second one, she is in a frictionless world for the most part. She basically just has a mission. She wants to pass this bill, but with that, there comes no character arc. She wants to marry her boyfriend, who is perfect. Luke Wilson has like two scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
He like was shot in another city, probably. He just talked to her on the phone, but she has basically, the movie's trying to do the exact same thing, except not let her have any character arc, and replace the college setting for Congress, which is of course the same exact dynamic, just like going to college. It's stupid, it's tedious, and the weird gay dog plot is kind of like like there's some weird self-conscious like politics going on here. Like I don't know, it's such a weird movie.
Bruiser's Bill.
Yeah, the gay dog bill.
All of the returning characters are like, they just feel like different people. Like Jennifer Coolidge is like annoying in this movie. the new crew that they try and establish in Congress
is boring.
Just irritating, boring, nothing to them, no good lines, no good jokes. Yeah. Just a stinker.
It's all the same turns. Sally Field is like the law professor this time. And, it turns out that she's actually working against the bill because she made some deal with another, with a lobby or something like that. And then like the moral of it, I guess, is like, yeah, politics is bad and corruption exists. That's not good, but we got to fight and do the right thing, and it's like, I'm all for animal rights. I think that's great, and it makes sense for her character to make that the plot, but literally the way it's introduced and how the movie starts, it's like she has a perfect life, perfect world, everything's going for her, and then her dog like helps her discover that the dog's mom, well, first off, she needs to find her dog's mom, right?
Oh yeah.
And she hires like a genealogist or something to find the dog's mom. Discovers the dog's mom is
private investigator.
Yeah. So already we're entering the fucking fantasy world. Like, what is going on? Like, there was some groundedness to the first one where it's like, yeah, she has a dog that's cute, and she's like obsessed with her dog, of course. But it's not like the dog isn't like an autonomous like leading the plot. Like. It feels cartoon world, and the dumbest bullshit to just get us into, okay, well, we need to get to Washington, D.C. So, the dog has a mom, and they find out the mom is being fucking tortured by, a makeup company. Like, so let's do something about this. And this is the plot. And we'll do the same exact fucking plot, except without any of the tension and any of the character development. It's just fucking, it's so lazy. It's so lazy.
I, for one, thought it was really cool to see all of this ancient technology that was once state of the art when this film was made. So that was a fun thing I got out of it. I was like, oh, that's an old computer, and that's an old phone.
I feel like you guys should be more mad about this.
No.
I feel like you need to be mad.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even muster the energy.
That's my secret, Captain.
Where's the anger?
The whole animal rights plot, I was actually thinking that's kind of cool that like you've started the movie there, considering like I guess the fashion stuff, the fast fashion like stuff that is jerked off in the first movie, to kind of acknowledge like some of the darkness behind some of these big like companies and corporations that make makeup and stuff like that. Would be kind of fun if you could turn that into like a funny plot or go somewhere with it, but you're right, they do nothing with it. Like it's so like dry and boring, and like despite how colorful the outfits are, there's nothing colorful about what they actually do with the humor. Like, what is there a single good joke in this movie? Faux sizzle ma hizzle. God, it felt like a time capsule, like just in the worst way possible. Just harkening back to these like straight to DVD tier, even though this did go to theaters and made a lot of money. It just felt super lazy. These like cheap green screens, and everyone's kind of like a pastiche of their old character. It just feels like, that optimism is gone. Maybe everyone was just like scared after 9/11 and they don't know, they couldn't find that happiness anymore. But there's just something off about it, something wrong.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a self-loathing there, I feel like, especially towards Elle's character. Like, they're like, yeah, like it's cute and everything, feminism, girly, whatever. She can be however she wants. But also, like, she is an annoying person, right? Like, the writers are kind of like, yeah, she'd be an annoying coworker. Like, when she shows up at Congress, she just, like, immediately is like, okay, I need to decorate my desk with all pink. And it's just, like, so ridiculously over the top. I'm like, she wasn't like that in the first movie. Like, there are like little touches of it, but it's like, okay, let's just make this her thing of how she's just annoying about this. And there's nothing else there. Yeah. Like you're saying, Alex, everyone's just a pastiche of their former selves. And one of the weirdest sequences and plot developments is that she finds out her dog is gay, and also, this congressman finds out his dog is gay, and there's like this like gay panic like for a moment, and it's played out so like excruciatingly long for laughs. It's like, oh, they were humping each other, and they're like, oh, our dogs are gay. What? And then in the next scene, remind me, am I forgetting, or did I misread this or whatever? But her dog is like in leather, like immediately in the next scene.
Yeah,
that was a weird moment. That was weird. She's like, oh, my dog's gay. I got to get him some like kink clothes or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was all about. Like, my most charitable interpretation of that would be, oh, she's going from pink to black. Because did she think that?
No.
Did she think? No, did she think the dog was a female before?
No,
I don't think so.
I forget if that was
like
also
bruiser.
the case.
That was
no. She knew he was a guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
she just got him some leather.
Shout out to bi erasure. Because what if the dogs were bi?
Yes.
You don't even know.
You don't.
Or pan. Or omnisexual.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that they make a whole big deal out of it just goes to show like the shift in culture, because I feel like it wouldn't have even been like maybe that could have been even a plot in the first one, but it wouldn't have been like put so much attention on it of like, oh wow, like the dog is gay, and the guy like freaking out, oh my god, our dog is gay.
Yeah, it's like a big deal for some reason.
Yeah, it's like a big deal, and then it becomes a plot development of him being like, I don't care if my dog is like girly little, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so overblown, and it feels like like the movie just insecure with being a Legally Blonde movie. Like, I don't know.
Which is weird because there are a bunch of like gay jokes in the original, and some of them are pretty funny. Like it doesn't feel the same. Yeah, it does feel insecure. If we're talking about the style, there's like a really bizarre scene early on where it's shot handheld for some reason. Like it's Veep or something weird like that. And it just felt like, what? What is this to do with Legally Blonde? This is so strange. This doesn't work.
There were some handheld shots that were like, what? Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
Also, there was like kind of a punchline that gave some kind of transphobic vibes. Hi, Allison, it's Cookie.
True.
The deep voice at the end of that, like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That did age it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I might be more mad about this, but I kind of like mentally checked out like about 30% through the film, and I was just kind of there.
Sure.
But not.
Sure. Yeah. It's hard to feel engaged with this. It's just not, there's not the mystery of the first one that it had in like the second half. It's just like, we need to pass this bill and let's do these things and, summon girl power to make Congress work. And America is an inherently, great place, and we can create change. And it is clearly trying to do the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. They literally watch it in the movie. We see it. It's like very clear that they're trying to make this comparison, and it has this kind of like patriotic feel to it. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. I love that movie. But this does feel like it's trying to force, like, yeah, America is good. Let's, there are some bad things going on in Congress, but we just need the right people to turn things around, and we can make this country great again.
But like, what is funny about Bruiser's Bill? Like the first movie, the murder mystery is funny. Like there's countless jokes. Yeah. There's a liposuction joke. There's the gay joke. The boyfriend saying his name in court and all of that. Like there are ongoing building jokes around the structure of that murder mystery. Whereas
it's a good
Bruiser's Bill. Like what is there's the gay dog thing, and then I guess the million dog march. But what's funny about any of that?
Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
There's no like payoff or setup or super lame.
It's just kind of poorly realized. Like starting from an idea that's not even that great, and then you still could have made something better out of it, but it just not the best writing for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking while watching this, like, what would I have done if I were in control of Legally Blonde 2? I wouldn't have taken this direction. I mean, I feel like you've got to find a way to give her a new character arc. Like, she ends the last movie kind of perfectly, of like, she self-actualizes, she's gonna get married to the really nice guy. So then what do? I feel like in the sequel, you'd have to like build it to this next level of like, she has become corporate, she's become she's lost the magic of Elle Woods, of the Legally Blonde attitude, and something's got to change about her to rediscover that, or something like that, but not this. I mean, that's, I'm worried, like, what, because they're working on the third one. Is it just going to be?
Are they really?
I think Reese Witherspoon teased like, oh well, she's got to now run for president. I'm like, are we just going to do like a presidential like campaign movie for Elle Woods, and it's just going to be the same shit but with the same type of jokes but with being president? Like, I don't know, like
House of Cards with Elle Woods. I'd watch that.
I feel like it's a hard concept to build on. Yeah,
I would have made it rated R.
Yeah, but Jennifer Coolidge gets a hot dog though, so that's pretty funny.
Oh, that hot dog thing was such a fucking unsatisfying payoff. It looked dry as fuck. That's the hot dog you wanted?
Yeah, it did look dry.
There were like no condiments on it or anything. It was small, it was tiny,
Okay.
It was dry. That was like that. You couldn't have gotten a better looking hot dog for that payoff. Go to fucking Costco or some shit.
Okay.
I cared because they were teasing the hot dog. And then, now I'm angry. Finally, you got me.
Okay.
So does this count as continuing the Spite era? I don't know.
Do you want it to?
I don't know. Whose recommendation is it this week? That's key.
I think it's Alex's.
It's mine, yeah.
Okay.
I've got some options.
Well, thank you. I don't know if you guys have any more commentary
No.
On these masterpieces. Okay.
What else is there to say, really? Like, we've covered basically the whole movie. You know, got Bruce's Bill, gay dogs, some like spy music in a scene for some reason. I get that's kind of it. It looks worse despite the higher budget. I guess Reese Witherspoon got $15 million, so fair play. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Garbage.
All right. Garbage. Thank you, everyone, for watching Legally Blonde and Legally Blonde 2. Please leave all your questions about the Iraq War for me in the comment section. I will answer them.
Low 4 out of 10.
Okay.
I think I go a little bit lower. 1.5 star for me. Not even with a like. No like.
Damn.
Don't even like it.
1 out of 10.
Damn.
Bad.
Damn.
Okay.
Fuck George Bush.
Fucking weird timing too, because like this is, I think this is news of like this day. Someone actually, like, some crazy person stabbed her. Reese, what's her name?
Witherspoon?
No, with a knife.
Wait, what?
Gotcha.
He's what?
All right. It was just for fun.
What the fuck?
No.
This is not. That's not cool. That's not cool.
That's fucked.
It was funny.
That is fucked.
I think I stole it from someone else though. Yeah.
She's a national treasure. You can't scare people like that.
Yeah. I was having palpitations.
Well, I'm
all right.
I'm glad.
What are we talking about now?
Glad it worked.
We're moving on.
I guess it's question time. Yeah, it's question time.
Yeah, let's do some questions then from the Sardonicast community. Head over to the suggestion thread over on the subreddit if you want to leave questions for future episodes. Just like Butter467 did. This kind of continues a little bit that conversation we opened the episode on, bringing it full circle. Since we're at halfway point of the decade, I have to ask, what would you guys consider your favorite and least favorite movies of the 2020s so far? So narrowing it down a bit more, not 25 years, just 5. We got some good picks. My mind, it flashed to Zone of Interest. That's a big one, I feel. That one's going to age very well, I think. Brutalist too. Might be a bit recency bias, but I feel like that's a big one for me. I've rewatched Queer a couple times, and I really feel like that's a special movie that not enough people have seen, but is absolutely excellent. And for a normie masterpiece, maybe like a Dune Part 2, I think that's a fantastic sci-fi spectacle film. I think deserves the title. What about some favorites from you guys for 2020s? Before we do some of the bads.
Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh yeah.
Tar. I'm Thinking of Ending Things. The Brutalist.
Nice.
Man, I haven't seen a lot of these. I haven't seen Tar.
The Substance. Poor Things.
Yeah, I'd say Poor Things.
Pooh Things.
Yeah. I went to my IMDb and then just filtered all of the 10 out of 10s I've given since 2020.
Right, yeah.
And that was all of them aside from some Neil Breen films. So I hope to add more.
Yeah.
What would you throw in there, Jake?
Man, I'm looking, through my letterbox, and I'm like, there have been some great movies of the past 5 years. I'm gonna say, let's see. No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's not 2019. So, but it is marked by, I guess, the pandemic. So it makes it a very weird past 5 years as well. Let's see. A few of my favorites would be West Side Story. I would also put in there Top Gun Maverick. I would also put in there Skinamarink.
Nice.
I would also put in there The Fabelmans.
Ew.
I would also put in there Babylon. John Wick Chapter 4. Beau is Afraid and Killers of the Flower Moon.
Beau is Afraid. Nice. Yeah, I nearly noted that one down.
Yeah.
I'm going to join you with that one. I'm going to add that one to mine too. Yeah, shout out Beau's Afraid. dig that movie.
I feel like it's underrated at this point.
I do too. It is weird.
Oh, Challengers also.
Oh, Challenges, yeah. What about least favorite then? Because there are some that really jump out to me in different ways, actually. Like more sort of smaller movie, like a music. It's just like such a wow. This is like insulting in so many different ways. Like your approach to this.
Did you guys review that on the channel? I forget.
We did.
Okay, I'm glad I missed that.
It was great.
Yeah, that one's rough. But I'd actually bought it on iTunes and watched it a couple times because I think it's like spectacularly bad, kind of in kind of a funny way. Where it's like, wow.
So you love it.
Unlike something like a Pinocchio live action, like from Robert Zemeckis, where it just feels like this idea. It definitely defines part of the 2020s, like the petering out of that Disney live action stuff. Like it's. You got your Aladdins and your Mulans and Lion Kings, but there was something about that Pinocchio one where it was like they weren't even confident enough to put it out in cinemas. Like it was straight to Disney Plus, and it is abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And in a similar way, something like Megalopolis, I feel like just with the cachet of who it's coming from and the way that just stinks. I actually found a list where someone had put that on best of the decade, so maybe people feel differently. And last, I'll shout out Free Guy just for like the product movie that too many people like, but just what it represents to me is just so like disgusting. Not just because of Ryan Reynolds. Come on, we can do better than this.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Spiral from the Book of Saw is a plague on our society.
Right, yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah, awful.
And it's the reason why we don't have more Tobin Bell Saw films. It's embarrassing. Genuinely one of the worst pieces of shit ever made.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then a weird one I was going through my 1 out of 10s. Crazy Samurai Musashi. Kind of an unknown film that was just so poorly realized.
2020.
Yeah. It was like, we're doing this all in one take. It's an action movie. And then it was just like the most LARPy fucking...
LARPy.
Like, none of the hits felt real. It's like, what's the point?
Uh-huh.
It was actually embarrassing. And then it wasn't even in one take. It wasn't even in one take. And it wasn't even like they cheated it. They had... Oh, it was so fucking... It was one of the most irritating moments of any film where they had this like fake like glitch effect, like, oh, something went wrong with the TV or something. Like, I'm like, that's what you did in this fucking samurai period piece to correct for the fact that you needed another take? What? Disgusting movie. Nobody's seen it.
Yeah.
Good by the sounds of things.
Unfrosted also.
Unfrosted. I'm kind of curious to watch that one still.
From auteur Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. What about you, Jake?
Well, I think that at least the first half of the 2020s, maybe all of the 2020s, we have yet to see. I think 2025 is kind of a crucial year for the superhero genre, big budget superhero genre. So
true.
It's a crucial year, and we're going to see what happens with Superman and with Fantastic Four. That might be what breaks it if they don't perform well. But yeah, there's just been some epic, very classic, horrible superhero movies. Thor, Love and Thunder, Madam Web,
good pick.
Kraven the Hunter, Captain America, Brave New World.
Oof, still haven't seen that.
Wakanda Forever, I think, is dog shit.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just Shazam 2, just an epic run of dog shit. Really, really bad superhero films. And the ones that broke out and did well, like the Batman, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, they are kind of like anomalies, or they're doing something different. Yeah, so that's what I do. Of course, there are like random ones that I hate for crazy reasons. Like Horizon, that's one of my least favorite movies of the last few years. But yeah.
Wasn't there some drama with that, though?
Oh my God.
Something happened with the Kevin Costner? There was like a
Lawsuits.
lawsuit. Yeah. Because that was supposed to be like a 3-part thing, right? Because I did watch that first one and thought it was like a complete mess.
It was. It was horrible. I was just shocked that I'm still surprised there's people who are like, oh yeah, it's actually pretty good and decent. I'm like, I feel like I've one of those things.
Which movie?
Horizon and American Saga.
Oh, I never watched it.
Like they're super ambitious. You wanted it to be 5 parts, right? Like 5-part, 3-hour long each. I guess it's kind of his Megalopolis kind of attempt at an epic.
Yeah, it looks like History Channel, and it just feels like a gigantic TV show that they tried to fit. And it's supposed to be 4-part series. The first one came out, bombed so hard that they're like, whoa, we can't release the second one. The second one was ready to go. They were going to release it a couple months later.
They already shot it, right? Yeah.
They already shot it. People have seen it at Cannes. But
oh, God.
They won't release it. And now, who knows if they will, because of all of these lawsuits that are happening, unpaid bills, but also the stunt woman who claims, to have been violated during a scene. I mean, people can read into it. It's kind of crazy, fucked up. But so who knows what's going to happen with that? But it's definitely one of my least favorite movies of the 2020s.
Very nice.
Also, shout out like a Jurassic World Dominion type thing. Like trying to Force Awakens, like bring in Laura Dern out, and come on, man, Sam Neill. No, who likes that movie? Is there anyone?
Nobody likes it.
I don't think there's anyone. No one. Everyone's seen it. No one cares about it.
Yeah, it made over $1 billion. That's my least favorite genre, is movies that break $1 billion that nobody likes.
Yeah,
like You all knew it was going to be bad. People were talking about how bad it was, but everybody felt compelled to watch it because it was the third in a trilogy. Like, it seems like
Minecraft.
Seems like everybody's got fucking sunken cost fallacy. Like, well, we already watched the other ones. Fucking Rise of Skywalker, Jurassic World Dominion. Like, there's no excuse. Nobody enjoyed those. Not a single person liked those movies.
There is no excuse. There is absolutely no excuse. Yeah.
Are you going to be checking out the new Jurassic World? Both of you.
I have no plans to. If I do, it will be on digital.
I might do. I wish I didn't like dinosaurs.
I feel like if Adam showed up to one of these episodes and then like, yeah, I just went out and saw Jurassic World, I think he'd been replaced by a clone.
Yeah.
I'd be really scared.
The reason I saw Jurassic World Dominion is because the previous one was so funny bad that I was hoping for more of that. And the way that they ended it, I was like, oh, it's good. They're going to be dinosaurs and they're bugging people in the normal society. But then they didn't even fucking deliver on that. They fucking pussed out so hard. They didn't even deliver.
See, now I was getting mad.
On the basic premise that they clearly set up at the end of the previous film.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm right there with you.
Disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. A little bit like this weird question from Minimum Plenty, 6895. Hello, Adam, Alex, and BBS Survivor. I'd like to preface my question by apologizing for the previous one. It was not my intention to be uncharitable towards Adam when formulating the baby-brained horror trope question. Sorry, Adam. I simply wanted to make you guys laugh. On to my new question for Jake. Since you are an American, I think I speak for all other American listeners when I ask what your favorite method of consuming corn syrup is. As I'm sure you're aware, our great nation spends billions of dollars subsidizing corn farms across the Midwest. And the sweet nectar of the corn must be injected into a huge chunk of our foodstuffs. I personally enjoy Hostess snowballs and Nerds gummy clusters. So, what is the corn syrup of choice?
Do you like Sodies? Sody Pops?
This is frankly an offensive question. Okay, I know people like to think us Americans, we're so fat and we eat corn syrup with 90% of everything. Well, it's actually 100% of everything. We have no fucking choice. All right, so it's a plague upon us. I don't know what is or isn't corn syrup. I eat something that I think is fine, and then it's like corn syrup. Yeah. So
Nope. Yep.
I mean, I guess it's a fair question. So I don't have any favorites. I mean, I'm vegan, so I have already a unusual diet for an American. So
exposed.
Yeah, exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. I don't have an answer.
Is the corn syrup soda that much worse? I don't think I've ever tried it, even when I've been in America. I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't taste as good in my opinion, but
I'd be curious to try.
I will say, we went to London, it was like heaven for me and Nadia being vegan, because we'd go to like fast food places and it's like, oh, here's all this vegan and I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's heaps of options in London.
Oh, it's crazy. We were like, this is amazing. Here in Washington, I guess there's some good places in Seattle, but we don't live near, we're in like an hour from Seattle, so we're just eating grass in the yard.
yeah.
Really? If the big city's not caught up yet.
Well, even your livestock doesn't eat grass; they get fed corn.
Right.
Yeah. The corn cycle. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vicious cycle.
I guess seeing as well on these Jake questions, I'm curious about this one from Silver Champagne Stars. A few years on from the childhood trauma series, do you have any others you'd add to the list, especially for Jake, as I don't believe he's ever shared his answers? So what media, what films traumatized you as a child? I don't think I have any new ones to add that aren't already known.
Wait, which ones have you guys talked about being traumatic for you?
Dark Crystal was a big one for me. Labyrinth.
Oh.
Pingu.
Pingu, yeah.
There's a certain episode.
Yeah, there was I did a childhood trauma series on my channel of like things that don't scare me as an adult but like fucked me up when I was a kid in some way. They included like some Goosebumps episodes. There was the stop motion reindeer thing, the Rudolph.
Oh, those are cute.
Like the Yeti in that was just fucking terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pingu vibes, yeah.
There's something about stop motion and the way it moves, like when it's done.
It can be so scary.
Way,
yeah.
It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's still scary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are good ones. I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I mean, it's probably some random bullshit. I was such a scaredy cat kid. I was like, everything scared me. Horror trailers, whatever. Oh, maybe like, that show Heroes?
Yeah.
That was on NBC all those years ago. That show. Scared the hell out of me when I watched that.
Siler, whatever it was called.
Siler, yeah. My dad used to we'd watch an episode and I'd be like scared to go upstairs alone, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's fine," and then he'd point at my forehead and do that like little cutting my head open, like he's gonna take my superpowers. Dumb shit like that.
Psychological torture. I like it.
I remember watching Scary Movie. It was on TV once, and I could not distinguish that it was supposed to be funny. It was just horrifying to me.
Sorry, what age were you when you watched Scary Movie?
It was on TV or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what age were you?
I have no clue. Probably pretty young. I had really no limit on what I could watch.
Nice.
It was just all whatever was on. I remember distinctly something though that really traumatized me. It was Halloween 5. Was on TV or whatever during Halloween season, and I was just transfixed.
Specific.
One of the worst ones in the series, but there's that sequence where the little girl is hiding in the air vent or air shaft or something, and Michael Myers is stabbing it, and she's trying not to get stabbed. That's a good thrilling little sequence, but it made me scared.
Fair enough.
Very nice. Yeah, I think my list was thoroughly extensive enough.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if there's more that I could add to it.
Okay.
Because I did try really hard to delve into the recesses of my brain to find more as I was making it.
Into those traumas. Those deeply buried traumas. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a similar place. Let's do this one then. Disabled Nerd. Hello. Hope you're all well. The new How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake is out and appears to have better reception than prior remakes. I haven't seen it, but it was one of the directors of the original returning and is apparently mostly shot for shot. Does this change the conversation about live-action remakes when the original creator returns, or is it still a soulless cash grab with little artistic value? I'm curious because I can't make up my mind myself. Yeah.
It does not change the conversation. It's the
No,
same
I think it
conversation.
only would if maybe the shots were different, if maybe it was the same director and they did something slightly different with it, but the fact it is a complete shot-for-shot remake, it just seems like the goldfish brain, like, we've forgotten that Disney's already gone through all this. Now it's just DreamWorks' turn to do it with their beloved movies, and I guess maybe they'll do Shrek live action and everyone will love that, and it'll be a shot-for-shot remake. I don't know, it might even be like worse than the Jungle Book, John Favreau, where at least that was kind of different.
Yeah.
You know, like it made some different choices. It wasn't literally shot for shot, which feels so kind of cynical and like, we've got a theme park to promote. Like, let's just play this as safe as possible.
Yeah, justify the existence of remaking it. Have a reason for doing it other than money, and then it won't be a soulless cash grab, right? Like, it's not like, oh, they would have filmed it in live action, but they just like, it was impossible at the time, and now now they get to fully realize what the product should have been. No, that's not the case. They're just doing a safe enough live action remake of Lilo and Stitch. We almost had them, with Snow White bombing. We almost fucking had them to the point where they would stop doing this.
It was teetering.
And you assholes all had to go see Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, and now they're going to keep doing them forever. So don't fucking complain about it if you're one of the people that went, because you voted for it. Okay?
So I didn't see it, but Nadia did. She saw it.
What did she think?
The same week. She saw it the week I saw Material as she saw this, because we had to split duties for the movies. But she doesn't have the kind of, like, she loves this movie, and she doesn't have, I think, the kind of principled nature perhaps of Adam regarding these. I think she's looking at it simply as like, does it work as a film? And for her, it absolutely worked. I didn't watch it, but that's kind of what I heard from people, is that it's like, if you like the original, it's going to work on you. And so she very much enjoyed it. And I think most people aren't really thinking about it in a broader sense of like, well, if we see this, we're going to get more of this type of stuff, and maybe we want some new stuff.
Not.
But I think it's like, it's a lose-lose. It's almost like, what's the point of even asking, like, is it good or bad? Because it's like, all right, either they try to do changes like Snow White. Like, I kind of respect Snow White for at least trying to do something a little bit with the material different. But people were furious at that for making these changes. And if this one, it's such a recent and beloved animated film that it's like, what could they do? Like, what were they going to do? Make a big narrative shift, or do some kind of like at least with Snow White, they have like 100 years of like cultural changes and different ideas about, all these stuff like that. You could take a different take on it, but like, what could there be a different take on How to Train Your Dragon? It's like, not enough time has passed. So you just do the exact same thing, and hopefully it works pretty similarly. So it is, I'm super cynical about it. I don't think they should be doing it. I think it's like boring bullshit, but that's what they're doing. I don't know.
I wish people understood that we collectively have the power to incentivize studios to fund more original projects. Like, people complain that we don't have like fucking original movies right now, right? Or that they're very infrequent, or that they don't get enough funding, right? Like, we literally have the power to change this. It's just none of you actually want to, apparently.
No, I want Harry Potter again. I want a TV show Harry Potter.
The thing is, I don't think scolding people is going to do anything about it, because no one's, the people seeing these movies are, families, and they have kids and they want something to do with them, whatever. I think
I'm saying the people that are complaining about it specifically.
Okay. Yeah. If you're complaining about it, then do something. I mean, you can go see something better, or not even like, just go see good original movies. That'd be my suggestion for people who are sick of this. Just go throw your support behind good original films, and they'll make more of those. But it's kind of like, most people aren't even aware of what's going on. And if you have a little kids and stuff, and you need something to do with them, in the summer, it's like, this is what's in theaters. There's not a ton of options for families, unless you stay home and watch stuff on Disney Plus. Like, that's why kids movies, even like mediocre shit, ends up like being a sleeper hit, because there are kids that exist and they need to go see stuff.
Yeah, because it's the kids movie in theaters.
Yeah, it's in theaters, something to do. And
yeah, that's the formula to success. Yeah,
exactly.
Pixar's Elio came out. No one's watching it. The marketing was really bad, though. It does look like a bad movie.
The marketing was really bad. Very, very bad.
Do you think they're deliberately trying to fucking bomb those? Like, is Disney just like...
No. That's a fun conspiracy, though.
Because Disney didn't promote it at all.
What's the incentive?
Well, maybe they'll work harder on Toy Story. Hey guys, you better make some more Toy Stories.
I'm waiting for Pixar to start doing that. Start remaking their old movies, like Toy Story 1 Redux or something. Safer.
Yeah.
Nostalgic. You get the nostalgia factor. Yeah.
I see that happening. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Pixar is, it's depressing. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have went woke.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Damn, that's it.
Now you're broke.
That is the problem. I'm curious about this one from Frosty Story 887.
Last one, if that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That he was religious when he was 13, so I was wondering if his religion had affected how he watched movies. For example, did he avoid watching R-rated movies because of his faith, or did he watch them anyway but felt religious guilt? For Alex and Jake, did your upbringing affect the way you watched movies? You just kind of mentioned it, Jake, how you didn't really have restrictions on the stuff you were watching growing up, and I didn't either. Like, I was watching, like, Alien and Predator and all the classic 80s, like, super hyper violent movies when I was like 11, so I never really cared about that sort of thing.
Yeah, culturally, at least in Alberta, there wasn't like a strong vibe of like, if you watch a horror movie, you're going to hell. There was mostly a strong vibe of, if you're gay, you're going to hell. So that's what affected me more. And in terms of being religious, like, it was more of like just that's the default, that's the cultural expectation, right? It wasn't out of like a passion for the scripture or anything like that. It was more just,
that's what you do.
This is what you do, and this you're not exposed to other ideas, so you didn't really have a choice. And then, of course, it's comforting to pretend to believe like there's someone watching out for you in some sort of existential way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think it affected my movie stuff.
Is that expectation not for it to be somewhat more puritanical, though? Like, if that was the expectation?
For what to be puritanical?
Like, if what you were raised in was that expectation of, that's just how people are, so surely the expectation would be to lean towards more sort of puritanical media, that there would be something inherently bad about going to something a bit more violent or sexual or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely parts of communities where that is the case. Like, I have like an uncle that was like super fundamentalist, believes in the rapture shit. And I have a very distinct memory of like visiting my cousins at their place. And like, there was one day where like they turned out all the lights in the basement and played some like cheesy fucking religious song about like a really sad, sappy song about like a shooting where a guy was going up to some famous thing that happened in, I think maybe in the States, I don't remember, but some guy was like going up to the kids in college and being like, do you believe in God? And if they said yes, he'd like shoot them or something. And so there's been like movies made about this and stuff, and like Christians love to have that on repeat to continue the persecution complex ideas. But yeah, it was so interesting. Like looking back on that retrospectively, I'm like, oh wow, like we literally just like went over to their house and they were like doing weird propaganda kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
But yeah, it was like their whole lives. So in that sense, yeah, if I was raised in that kind of environment, then maybe. But it was more just like, oh, you go to church because you're supposed to, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as intense as something like that. So
Okay.
Interesting lore.
oh, thank you.
Bit of a lore drop.
Yeah, lore drop.
Did your mic just get a billion times louder?
Yeah.
Who?
Did you, Jake?
Me?
Say some more things.
Some more thing. I didn't change anything. There's some guy out mowing the lawn somewhere.
It's your mic. Your mic sounds different now. Well, we're like basically at the end of the episode, so if something happened, it's not a big deal.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe you hit like a button on your interface, or like a button in your software. Or something.
Are you sure it's not the sound of this guy like mowing his lawn? And I don't know. Maybe
that was it. Was really, we heard that and it was really loud. So I don't know if there's whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll listen to it.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
it
Sorry.
We'll figure it out if it. It's okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
You sound crispy now.
Yeah, crispy right there in my ear.
Not in the M Night way though.
No.
We'll figure it out later. Run some tests.
What's our recommend? Wait, are we done with questions?
Yeah, you sound.
Yeah.
You sound like your gain has been turned up quite a lot.
What?
But don't worry about it. It's a funny way to end the episode.
It sounds really good now.
Oh my god.
Damn. ASMR Jake right now.
All right, Alex,
Okay.
hit us with the whatever you want.
Okay. So I'm gonna do what's kind of like a halfway point of a spite recommendation.
Okay, great.
Because we all know the ultimate spite recommendation would be like the original Star Wars movies, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Don't worry.
But that would be spiteful towards the audience who would have to listen to me just checked out the entire episode and not really say anything. So
Yeah.
if you want to hurt the audience, then go for it.
I'm not doing that for the record. What I am doing though is pulling Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs. I want to talk about that.
Yes.
Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I'll like it.
I've never actually seen it.
What? You've never seen Spaceballs?
I feel like I did when I was younger. But
I've never somehow I haven't seen it, despite like how much Star Wars media like I've enjoyed over the years. I feel like I've absorbed most of it through osmosis, but this announcement of a sequel, I feel like I'm really curious how this holds up. I like some other Mel Brooks stuff.
It's good timing. Me too. I haven't seen it in years, but I watched it a ton when I was a kid. So this is exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll have a bunch of different perspectives.
Sure.
Nice. Spaceballs, Mel Brooks, 1987.
cool. Well,
Let's go.
that is a real halfway.
Getting creative over here.
If you don't want to be spoiled for Spaceballs 1987, watch it before the next episode comes out. These come out every 2 weeks. And have you noticed that we haven't been doing sponsors or anything? Fucking help us out, okay? You can go to sardonicast.com, sign up for premium. It's only a few dollars a month. You get the episodes early. They're ad-free. Patreon.com/sardonicast will do the same thing. Or click the members button below the video. And I saw some comments. Some people are still confused about the members thing. So YouTube doesn't allow background play on members' videos, which is why for the members on YouTube, we also make a community post with a link to the unlisted video version. So if you sign up as a member on YouTube, right? Very convenient. The button's right there. You can still do background playback. You just need to go to the community post tab. And there's a link right there. So click on that one. Okay? There's 2 different uploads. So you can figure it out, please.
Click it, man.
You know, I wonder if we should just stop even uploading. Let us know in the comments for the members if we should just stop uploading the members version video and just only do the community post, because it's the same video, just one's an unlisted link.
True, we already have the unlisted link. Yeah, that might be a bit more streamlined.
Yeah, like let us know, as long as you have your notifications on for videos and posts. So make sure you click the bell and make sure you're getting notifications for posts as well. Then that should be fine. So let us know in the comments on the members thing. And that might actually be the better solution if people are accidentally clicking on the members video upload thinking they can do background play and then they can't. I wonder.
Yeah.
Well, let us know. We also have a Sardonicast highlights channel. Check it out. Subscribe. Do whatever. And have a happy Spaceballs.
Happy Spaceballs.
Have a happy day.
Have a happy Elio, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all going to watch that. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.